So, is nil a joke or a solution? I don't think even Finebaum would know what to say about that. But did you see that Greg Byrne recently asked Bama fans for help? What did you think? Let's take a look at this nil issue. And at the end, Nick Saban talks about NIL. Watch the video until the end. Recently, University of Alabama Athletics Director Greg Byrne caused quite a stir when he appealed to Crimson Tide fans to join the school's nil-focused Yeah Alabama program. In his statement, Byrne expressed growing concern about the intense competition Alabama faces in nil deals, especially when it comes to retaining its players. While we have been competitive from a nil perspective, our competition has us in its sights and is actively trying to move forward with the NIL, he said, warning that other teams are making multi-million-dollar offers to lure Alabama athletes. Byrne's plea was not only to ensure that players remain with the program, but also to protect the team's future by keeping its stars with the Crimson Tide. The appeal touched on a sensitive issue for many fans. The reality of the NIL and the transfer portal has become a minefield, with mixed feelings about the impact of these new developments. On the one hand, many believe that the NIL provides much-needed opportunities for athletes, allowing them to benefit financially from their talent and exposure. On the other hand, however, there is growing frustration among fans who see the situation as out of control and potentially upsetting the balance that has made Alabama so dominant in college football. The public response was significant. In just 2 days, nearly 800 new members have joined Yeah Alabama, with many fans recognizing the need to financially support the program to ensure Alabama remains competitive. But that membership comes with a sense of trepidation. The NIL, while a step forward for athletes, has brought to light issues that previously did not exist. The system is changing rapidly, and with it comes questions about the future of college football. For many, the NIL is not just about attracting new talent, but also about retaining the ones already on the team. The practice of paying players large sums is becoming commonplace across the country, and Alabama, as one of the powerhouses in the sport, cannot afford to fall behind in this regard. Among fans, there is some skepticism about the future. Todd Logan, a longtime Alabama fan and Yeah Alabama member, believes the NIL has its merits, but it also raises serious questions. For him, the biggest issue is not direct payments to players, but the impact of the transfer portal. The fear that athletes will move from program to program with ease, seeking the biggest contract or the best opportunity, is a real concern. Logan mentioned that the NCAA should control the transfer portal in some way, perhaps by limiting the number of transfers or creating stricter rules. He likened it to a salary cap, something that could help balance the playing field and ensure that more traditional programs like Alabama aren't simply victims of a talent drain. The dilemma surrounding the NIL and the transfer portal is further complicated by its impact on other sports. Alabama fans like Logan are aware that support for the NIL isn't limited to football. Basketball, baseball, gymnastics, and other sports are also affected, and the impact isn't limited to football. All of the college's sports rely on this new dynamic in some way. Still, even with the criticism, it's hard not to see Greg Byrne's call as an attempt to balance a situation that's spiraling out of control. Asking for more fan support may seem like a short-term strategy, but it's clear that he's dealing with a reality in which Alabama, while a historic leader, now has to adapt to a new world of college football, one in which the NIL is one of the most powerful forces. While some still support the changes, there are growing concerns that the landscape around the NIL is becoming more focused on money than tradition, and that this could be a threat to the balance and future of the sport as we know it. Comment below with your thoughts on the NIL. The Alabama coaching tree continues to expand, a clear testament to Nick Saban's lasting impact on college football even after his retirement. Did you see it? Recently, one of the most notable figures on that tree was named to a new and important position. Charles Kelly, the former assistant defensive coordinator and safeties coach at Alabama, was announced as the new head coach at Jacksonville State University. This move comes shortly after Jacksonville State lost its previous head coach, Rich Rodriguez, who accepted the position at West Virginia. Kelly, who established himself as one of the most respected defensive coordinators and an unbeatable recruiter during his career, brings a wealth of experience to the new challenge. Although his last stint was at Auburn, where he also served as co-defensive coordinator and safeties coach, his name is closely associated with one of the best periods of Alabama's defense. He played a key role in shaping the defensive line of one of the best teams in the country, and now, in his new role, he is poised to take Jacksonville State to new heights. Kelly's track record in recruiting, especially in the Southeast, cannot be understated. He has been responsible for securing some of the best talent in the region, resulting in some of the most impressive recruiting classes. His experience in the state of Alabama will certainly be an advantage, as many highly rated players from both Auburn and Alabama could be drawn to Jacksonville State, as Kelly already has a solid network of contacts and a keen eye for local talent. In terms of performance, Jacksonville State is on an upswing. The team finished the 2024 regular season with an impressive 8-4 record and won the CUSA Conference Championship, which demonstrates the program's potential. Now with Kelly at the helm, the program is expected to continue its growth trajectory and consistently strive for excellence in college football. It's interesting to see how Kelly, with his experience and expertise, could further bolster the roster with transfers, possibly seeking out standout players from Alabama or Auburn, where he built his career. Time will tell if he can leverage his SEC ties to strengthen Jacksonville State. Recruiting has always been one of his greatest strengths, and that, combined with his coaching experience, could be the fuel needed to propel the program to a new level of success. In the meantime, Alabama fans can be proud to see one of their former coaches rising through the ranks of college football. The succession of Alabama greats who have now made it to the top in other parts of the country only reinforces the enduring legacy of Nick Saban and the winning culture he built at the Crimson Tide. For current Alabama coach Kalen DeBoer and the rest of the program, the growth of their coaching tree is a reflection of the impact they have on developing leaders who can lead other programs to victory. Charles Kelly's ascension to Jacksonville State's head coach is a major milestone for both Alabama and college football. His experience, tactical knowledge, and recruiting skills are assets that will certainly contribute to the success of the new team he leads. At Bama, we are proud to build careers and professionals who reinforce our tradition. Nick Saban, always known for his quirky sense of humor, had a memorable moment during an appearance on College Game Day, where he interacted with Curt Cignetti, a former Alabama assistant and now Indiana head coach. Cignetti, who led the Hoosiers to the college football playoff in 2024, became one of the biggest surprises of the season with his team's impressive turnaround. However, it was Saban who stole the show, demonstrating once again that, in addition to being a master tactician, he also knows how to break the ice. In a lighthearted moment, Saban, in his characteristic style, made a point of highlighting what he had not taught Cignetti. "One thing you didn't learn from me is how to talk all that shit you talk," Saban said, laughing with Cignetti by his side, generating good laughs among those present in the studio. The joke undoubtedly reflected the mutual respect between the two coaches, but it was also a reminder of how Saban, even with his seriousness on the field, knows how to have fun and show a more lighthearted side. Indiana's success in 2024 under Cignetti's leadership cannot be ignored. Even with the loss to Notre Dame, the Hoosiers demonstrated that they are on the right track to build a competitive program in the future. The 2024 season was a big step for Cignetti, who managed to take his team to a level of prominence that few could have predicted at the start of the season. It not only speaks to the coaching prowess, but also to the quality of the training he received under the tutelage of Nick Saban, one of the greatest figures in college football. While Cignetti clearly learned many valuable lessons from his mentor at Alabama, the lightheartedness of his interaction with Saban during the interview shows how the Alabama coach also has his own unique way of imparting wisdom, and in this case, with a healthy dose of humor. For college football fans, especially Alabama fans, this moment serves as further evidence of Saban's lasting impact, both on and off the field. After all, as Saban has shown, success in college football is not just about what you teach, but also about how you learn to deal with the ups and downs of life and the sport, and in that sense, Cincinnati is clearly on the right track. What an interesting meeting of sports titans. Since NIL rules were implemented in college football, Alabama has excelled not only on the field, but also in recruiting and its ability to attract talent through NIL deals. And now, with the recent revelation from former head coach Nick Saban, it's clear that the Crimson Tide are not only participating in this new era of college football, but leading the way with a robust budget to ensure their players are compensated fairly. In a recent appearance on the Pat McAfee Show, Saban detailed the impressive growth of Alabama's NIL budget over the past few years. The coach explained that in 2021, when NIL rules first began to be implemented, the program allocated about $3 million to its athletes. Over the years, that number has quickly climbed, reaching $7 million in 2022, $10 million in 2023, and by 2024, the budget has already reached a whopping $13 million. This significant increase is not surprising, given the NIL's growing role in recruiting players and strengthening the program's competitiveness. Saban, who has long been an advocate for adapting to the new realities of college football, was keen to highlight the continued growth of this funding stream, noting that Alabama is projecting an even larger budget for 2025, possibly in the $20 million range. He drew comparisons to other high-profile programs, noting that Ohio State, for example, is committing similar amounts to its team, with its athletic director, Ross Bjork, stating that the university's commitment to the Buckeyes in 2024 is in the neighborhood of $20 million. The impact of the NIL on college football, and specifically on Alabama, has been significant. Not only do players have more opportunities to capitalize on their likenesses and names, but the Crimson Tide also benefit from an added incentive to keep their team among the best in the country. The increase in the NIL budget reflects a long-term strategy to ensure that Alabama remains an attractive destination for top college football talent. Furthermore, with NIL values increasing each year, it is clear that Alabama is prepared to compete not only in competition on the field, but also in negotiations off the field. This increase in financial commitments also raises questions about how the future of college football will be shaped by the NIL. If programs like Alabama are willing to invest such large sums, it is likely that other teams will follow suit, making recruiting even more competitive. While Saban did not specify the exact reason for the $20 million budget in 2025, it is clear that Alabama is positioning itself as a leader in this new economic landscape for college sports. In a year where Alabama failed to qualify for the college football playoff but remains one of the most powerful programs in the country, the ballooning NIL budget is a reminder that in modern college football, victories come not just from good strategy on the field, but also from shrewd financial management and an ability to adapt to an ever-changing system. Will this work after Greg Byrne's call for fan support, too? Let us know what you think.